Hello there, my dear friends. Welcome back. Inshallah, you're having yourself a wonderful day. Today, we're going to talk about how can I invest my first 25,000 riyals. How am I going to learn how to manage my assets? Okay. Something very important, a question that is being asked. I mean, every time I give an asset management course to somebody, they ask me, how do I invest? Okay, I have saved up some money. Where do I start? So this is a very safe sort of investments that we are going to look at today. And keep in mind the following assumptions. Okay. Number one, initially that the investment that you're going to start with is 25,000 riyals you have saved up, and you want to start with your initial investment of 25,000 riyals. Point number two, the second assumption, this initial investment is there to be invested for at least a period of 10 years and will not be required for any reason. Meaning that once you have started investing your 25,000, you don't need it for anything until 10 years later. Honestly speaking, you can have it anytime you want, but make yourself a promise that I'm not going to use this investment for another 10 years because my plan is for 10 years to come. Okay. Point number three, assumption number three, there is some extra savings that you can do from your salary, from whatever you may have it, on a yearly basis, maybe on a monthly basis, if possible. Can I increase my investments? Okay. So let's see what options do we have. Okay. Um, Going forward, we are going to look at our first option, which is that, for example, you have a yearly investment of whatever amount that you have. Before we start, it is very important to keep an idea and have a concept of future value, because it's important here, honestly speaking, but it's unbelievably even more important in anybody's normal life who's willing to invest for the future, being it 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 years, whatever you may have it. Okay. So future value equals the present value of whatever amount that you have multiplied by 1 plus the rate that you're getting. Okay. The rate, what we are going to look at in our example is a very risk-free, safe rate. So, wadi'a, basically deposit rate. And the small n here is the number of payments, number of years that you may have. Okay, so let's look at this investment. So you invested the amount of 25,000 riyals in the very beginning at a risk-free rate of 5.5. For year one, your 25,000, at the end of the year, you're going to be ending up with 26,375 riyals. Okay. The assumption is that this is the reason why I told you here that I did the calculation for over 20 years. But for example, let's say that you want to have it until 10 years. So 10 years later, your 25,000 riyals, if you didn't move or increment it at all, it will be worth almost about 500,000. And that is a very important concept here, that this is when you do not invest anything into this. So your 25,000 is, you just took your 25,000 today, put it in the investment for the coming 10 years. It'll be at 5.5% a year. It will be worth in 10 years time almost about 500,000. And this amount is very important for you to keep an eye on. First of all, the amount of 500,000, number one. Number two is that's in 10 years, starting from 25,000 riyals at 5.5% at initial investment to begin with. Okay. So that being said, let's look at what if you had a yearly increment. Every end of the year, you started with 25,000 today. At the end of 1 year from now, you have whatever amount that you have plus your profit, obviously, 25,000 plus my profit, plus I added another 25,000 at the end of this year as well. So I started here with 25,000 at the same rate, 5.5%. Okay, at the end of the year, I end up with the same amount as I did in the last example. But at this time, when I get this, I added another 25,000 here below it for year two. So I get again 5.5 thousand at 26,375 plus 25,000 here. and I ended up with 57,181 or 182 riyals at the end of year two. At the end of year two, I took this 57,000 plus 25,000 extra investment for the third year, and it keeps on going on for the here. One of the most important things to consider here is that your yield, your return, rate of return, ma'addil, okay, is going to be higher every year if you increase it by 25,000 riyals every year. And just for your information, in our last example where we invested 25,000 and never invested anything else for another 10 years, I was around 457,000, right? In this example, I reached double that amount, almost a million riyals, between 8 to 9 years. So the time is less. It's not 10 years to reach double the amount. So the amount that you reached, half a million, as in the first example, would have been in year 7. Okay, so something very important for you to consider. Now, keeping all of this in mind, meaning that if you increase your investment every year by 25,000, for example, extra, it will increase your rate of return, and it will decrease your number of years for your projected projected goals. For example, you go with a million. So when will I reach a million? Instead of which is my 10, 15, 10 to 12 years, it will take me, if I'm putting 25,000 real extra every year, I will reach that same point in less than 7, 8 years. Okay. Uh, so what is very clear from our last example, the rate of return is far greater if there is an additional investment over the previous one. So keep in mind, every year save a little bit more and add to your initial investments, investments into a very safe rate of return. Point number two, assumptions of not breaking the investment cycle is crucial for this to work in our favor, meaning don't try to break your investment and don't try to take your money out for whatever reason, unless it's an emergency, for example. Number three, if the increments are varied over maybe monthly basis, keeping the rate of return the same, the yield is even higher. Meaning that if your increments are, instead of every year you increase your investment, if you were increasing your investment every month, 4,000, 5,000, 2,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 every month, your rate of return will be even higher, keeping your profit rate the same, 5.5. Okay. By the way, 5.5 is a very achievable rate. It is a very safe rate for your information. And with that, we come to an end of this conversation that we had today. Thank you for being a part of it with me today. My contact details are there. Inshallah, help build Saudi talents. Bismillah Rabbil Arshil Azim. And please subscribe to my video. See you in the next one, mate. Assalamu alaikum.